Hello, 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 my fabulous self-compassion warriors. Welcome back to another episode of Fabulous Fun Fridays. I'm your host, Dr. Deidre C. Payne, and this is episode 5, where your Fridays are turned into pure magic. If you missed last week's episode on creating your purpose, go back and check it out. It's life-changing. But first, stay right here because today I'm talking about that annoying voice in your head that just won't shut up sometimes. Today I'm diving into your inner critic. You know, that mean little voice that tells you you're not good enough, smart enough, or worthy enough. Don't you hate that? Oh, I absolutely hate that. I'm talking about why your brain is sometimes a jerk and how to tell the difference between helpful feedback and toxic self-talk, and why evicting your inner critic is the best decision you'll ever make. So let's go! It's time to slam that door on that toxic inner critic. That's right, slam that door hard. Now, for my spoiler alert, that voice in your head telling you you're a failure, it's lying. Okay, real talk. So growing up, I was painfully shy and an introvert. And when I started working in corporate America, it was rough. And to make matters worse, I was someone who strived for perfection, like unhealthy levels of perfection. I know some of you out there can relate. So picture this. I'm sitting in my office working on the budget for the president of the company. Yes, the president. And I wanted it to be perfect. No mistakes, because there should be no mistakes in a budget, right? I've checked it maybe 17 times, my eyes are crossing, and I'm ready to hit send. My finger is literally hovering over the button, and suddenly my inner critic shows up like an uninvited guest at a party. And this voice starts going off. This isn't good enough. People are going to think you're stupid. Who do you think you are? You should have worked even longer. Everyone's going to laugh at you. You're going to embarrass yourself. Don't you hate that inner critic? And here I am sitting there frozen. My inner critic was treating this moment like I was about to perform brain surgery with a spoon. But I realized my inner critic is the worst roommate ever. You know the type, doesn't pay rent, eats all your food, criticizes everything you do, never cleans up, and somehow makes you feel bad about it. It's like living with a judgy goblin who leaves passive-aggressive notes on the refrigerator. Dear you, noticed you breathed today. That was weird. Maybe don't do that. Signed, your inner critic. And I've been letting this terrible roommate live rent-free in my head. This freeloader even had the audacity to rearrange my mental furniture without asking. So I decided, eviction time, baby. And let me tell you, kicking out your inner critic is so satisfying. All right, let's talk science now, because understanding why your brain does what it does makes it so much easier to fight back. So first up, your inner critic is actually your brain's ancient survival mechanism gone rogue. Back in caveman days, that part of your brain that worried about everything kept you alive. Don't trust that rustling bush. Could be a tiger. Very helpful, right? But now, that same part of your brain is like, don't send that email. People might judge you. There's no tiger. It's just a Gmail. Calm down. Your brain is out here treating a Zoom meeting like you're about to wrestle a bear. Danger, danger. Someone might see you forget to actually unmute. Meanwhile, actual cavemen were running from actual predators, not from the possibility of an awkward silence during a team check-in. Psychologists call this the negativity bias. Your brain is literally hardwired to focus on threats and negative information more than positive stuff. It's like your brain is running malware from the Stone Age. Dr. Christian Neff, who researches self-compassion, found that people who are harsh on themselves actually perform worse, not better. So, that inner critic telling you is motivating you? Lies. All lies. Is actually sabotaging you. Studies show that self-criticism activates the same parts of your brain as physical threats. Your brain literally can't tell the difference between you being mean to yourself and someone actually attacking you. No wonder we feel terrible when we beat ourselves up. And here's something wild. Research from the University of Texas found that people who practice self-compassion are more motivated, more resilient, and more likely to achieve their goals than people who are self-critical.
But if I'm not hard on myself, I'll become lazy and unambitious.
Actually, science says you'll become more successful if you're not critical of yourself. Your inner critic is not your life coach. It's your life roach. It scurries around in the dark parts of your brain, survives on your self-doubt, and somehow thinks it's helping just by existing. Plus, neuroscience tells us that chronic self-criticism literally shrinks the hippocampus, that part of your brain responsible for learning and memory. So, being mean to yourself is actually making you dumber. How's that for irony? But the good news is, you can actually rewire your brain through something called self-compassion practice. Every time you talk to yourself kindly instead of being critical, you're creating new neural pathways. It's like upgrading your brain operating system from Mean Girl version 1.0 to Supportive Best Friend version 2.0. So, if our inner critic is so terrible, why do we keep it around like some toxic friend who never pays for drinks? Let's unpack this mess here. First, we think being hard on ourselves is humility. Like, oh, if I don't constantly point out my flaws, I'll become an arrogant monster. If I stop criticizing myself, I might accidentally think I'm good at something. Oh, the horror. But here's the truth. There's a huge difference between humility and self-hatred. Humility is, I'm learning and growing. Self-criticism is, I'm garbage and I should give up. Then there's this weird belief that punishment works better than encouragement. We think we need to be mean to ourselves to improve, like we're our own personal drill sergeant.
Drop and give me 20 reasons why you're a failure.
But think about it. If you had a friend and every time that friend tried something new, you said, wow, you're terrible at this. Why even bother? You'll never be good enough. Would that friend get better, or would they just give up and stop trying and even avoiding you? Exactly. So why do we think it works on ourselves? There also seems to be this fear, if we're nice to ourselves, we become complacent, as if self-compassion is somehow the same as making excuses or lowering standards.
Oh no, if I treat myself kindly, I might become content. Can't have that.
But studies show the opposite. People with self-compassion have higher standards for themselves. They just don't beat themselves up. Plus, many of us learned this pattern in childhood. Maybe we had critical parents, harsh teachers, or grew up in environments where nothing was ever good enough. So now our inner voice sounds like a greatest hits album of every mean thing anyone has ever said to us. All right, my fabulous friends, time to evict this terrible roommate. I've created the quiet framework because it's time to make that inner critic quiet. See, I'm still good at my acronyms. Okay, starting with Q. Question the narrative. When your inner critic starts talking, ask yourself, is this actually true? Or is this just anxiety talking? Your inner critic loves to present opinions as fact. Treat your inner critic like a sketchy witness in court. Your Honor, I object. This voice is speculating. Start separating fact from feelings. A fact might be, I made a mistake. A feeling would be, I'm a complete failure who ruins everything. See the difference? One is information, the other is your inner critic being dramatic. Okay, let's take a look at you. Use the best friend test. This one is huge. When your inner critic says something, ask yourself, would I say this to my best friend? If your friend came to you and said, wow, I messed up that presentation, would you respond with, yeah, you're garbage and everyone thinks you're stupid? No, you would say something like, hey, presentations are hard. What can you learn from this? You'll do better next time. So why are you holding yourself to a different standard? Start talking to yourself like someone you actually like. Here's a wild idea. Be your own best friend. Revolutionary, I know. Let's take a look at I. Interrupt with facts. When your inner critic starts spiraling, interrupt it with evidence. Your inner critic might say, you never do anything right. But you might present the evidence by saying, actually, I successfully adulted 3 times this week. I paid my bills, I showed up to work, and I remembered to eat my vegetables. That's at least 3 things, right? Keep a victory log. Write down your wins, no matter how small they are. Then when your inner critic tries to convince you that you're a failure, pull out the receipts. Says here, I helped my best friend, I finished a project, and I made someone laugh yesterday. Seems to me like I'm doing a lot of things right. Thank you very much. Your inner critic can't argue with data. Well, it'll try, but you've got evidence now. E, externalize the voice. Give your inner voice a name and a personality. When that critical voice starts up, I'm like, oh, that's my inner voice again. She's just being ridiculous. Moving on. Some people imagine their inner critic as a scared little kid, a cranky old relative, or even a cartoon villain. Whatever helps you see that it's actually separate from you. Because here's the thing, that voice is not you. It's just a voice. You're the one listening to the voice.
You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts.
Once you externalize it, you can say, thanks for sharing, but I'm not taking advice from someone who actually panics about a text message. T, talk back with compassion. Finally, respond to your inner critic with kindness, not more criticism. Instead of saying, shut up, you stupid voice, because that's just being mean to yourself about being mean to yourself. So try, I hear you, and I know you're trying to protect me, but that's not helpful right now. I'm safe and I'm doing my best. It's like dealing with an anxious friend. You don't yell at them, you reassure them. Thank you, inner critic, for trying to keep me safe from embarrassment. But I'm actually okay with being imperfect. I'm going to try anyway. Self-compassion researcher Kristen Neff suggests this mantra. This is a moment of suffering. Suffering is part of life. May I be kind to myself in this moment. Simple, powerful, and way better than I'm an idiot and I should live in a cave. Let me tell you about some people who told their inner critics to shove it and went on to do amazing things. Oprah has talked openly about her inner critic, telling her she wasn't good enough, she wasn't thin enough, wasn't polished enough, not whatever enough. And instead of listening, she built a media empire and became one of the most influential people on the planet. She literally said, I had to trust that I could withstand the critic, both the ones outside and the ones in my head. Brene Brown, our queen of vulnerability, talks about her inner critic almost stopped her from giving her famous TED Talk. That talk has been viewed millions of times and changed countless lives. Imagine if she had listened to that mean voice. That inner voice says, nobody wants to hear about shame and vulnerability. Well, turns out everybody wanted to hear about it, inner critic. Sit down. J.K. Rowling has said that her inner critic told her she'd never be a successful writer and she should just give up. She was rejected by 12 publishers. Her inner critic was screaming at her to quit, but she kept going. And now Harry Potter is one of the best-selling book series in history. Okay, so here's your challenge for the week, Inner Peace Warriors. For day 1 through 2, this is the inner critic audit. Notice when your inner critic speaks up. Write it down about what it says. Don't judge it, just observe. When does it show up the most? What triggers it? What's its favorite insult? You're gathering intel on the enemy. Day 3 through 4, name your inner critic. Give your voice a name and personality. Make it separate from you. Pick something that helps you see it as ridiculous rather than authoritative. Okay, day 5, the best friend challenge. Every time your inner critic says something mean, write down what you say to a friend in the same situation. Then say that to yourself instead. Seriously, out loud if you can. So for the weekend, we have the compassion practice. Pick one self-compassion phrase and use it every time your inner critic shows up. So here they are. I'm doing my best. This is hard and I'm handling it. I'm human and humans make mistakes. I'm worthy of kindness, especially from myself. Say it until your brain starts to believe it. Remember, you wouldn't let someone else talk to you in this way. Don't let yourself do it either. All right, I am going to wrap it up. Listen up, self-compassion champions. Your inner critic is not the voice of reason. It's the voice of fear. You don't owe that mean voice rent-free space in your head. Evict it. Replace it with kindness. Talk to yourself like someone you love. You're not too much, not too little, not too anything. You're exactly enough, exactly where you are. Your mistakes don't define you. Your worth is not up for debate. And that voice telling you you're not good enough is lying. Stop treating yourself like a problem to be fixed and start treating yourself like a person to be loved. Remember, self-compassion isn't self-indulgence, it's self-preservation. And being kind to yourself isn't weakness, it's wisdom. And that, my friends, is fabulous. Now, keep being bold, keep being kind to yourself, and I'll see you next Friday for another dose of life-changing realness. And don't forget to ignite your fabulous. Bye-bye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any organization or employer. Dr. Deetra C. Payne is not a licensed therapist or medical professional. If you're struggling with serious self-esteem issues or mental health concerns, please reach out to a qualified professional. Your mental health matters, and there are amazing people trained to help you. While we strive to keep the information accurate and up-to-date, we make no representations or warranties of any kind about the completeness, accuracy, or reliability of any information discussed. Any reliance you place on information from this podcast is strictly at your own risk. We recommend consulting with qualified professionals for specific advice related to your individual circumstances. This has been a production of Fabulous Coaching, Training and Productions, LLC. Thanks again for joining us for another fabulous Fun Friday, and we'll see you next week for more fun, laughter, and great talk.